topic of discovery and personalization, creating a better viewing experience for the user. And with me, a fantastic panel is available. I would like to invite Ajay Anand, CEO of Norton Media, on stage, along with Jeremy and Global Technology Alliance Director and Strategy Advisor at BytePlus, and Sonia Rodriguez, Content Discovery Lead with Vodafone Group. So let's start with a quick introduction about yourself and your organization, starting with Sonia.
Hello, nice to meet you everyone. So I'm Sonia Rodriguez. I'm working at Vodafone. I'm the lead of content discovery, and we are responsible for recommendations, voice, personalization, and also meta data. And do you want to more details about?
Yeah, I think it's a fantastic start. How about you, Jeremy?
Right, I'm Jeremy. I'm from the B2B enterprise arm of BytePlus, called BytePlus. I basically take care of technology partnerships globally for the business. And yeah, very happy to be here. I was previously from private equity background before moving into BytePlus. So yeah, did you?
Good afternoon, my name is Ajay. I'm the CEO of Norton Media. We're a Norwegian company. We do everything from the valuation of TV streaming, from the hosted services for making operators, to anything that is UI experience related, which is UI UX solutions, which is anything from design, engineering, as well as quality assurance to ensure that TV apps and UI UX actually gets onto app stores in an efficient manner. My background is I run the company. I do everything from product design to a little bit of sales, but I guess I'm my background before that in used car 20 years ago.
Excellent. Thank you so much for your introduction. And quickly about me, myself, Dipali Nasikar. I head the Alumni program with Global Streaming Media. We try to increase the diversity and give the more visibility to global leaders within the streaming media industry. I also work as an independent OTT consultant to help the organizations to internationalize their business and work on the content and discovery to engage the users more, increase the stickiness to their platform. So let's dive deep into the discovery and personalization strategies. Starting with Sonia, what are key factors to make an effective personalization for user?
So I used to have a joke with my colleagues saying that in order for us to have a good lemonade, we have to have good lemons. And bringing this to recommendation and personalization, we really need to have a good foundation, which is for me metadata and the quality of the metadata of the contents, having the contents properly tagged and with the right genres, with the right characters, and the information that will allow us to then properly the contents. But it's not only that. It's also the user data that we collect from the users, obviously with the GDPR all in place, because it's very important regarding the privacy and security for the user. But this jointly with the algorithms, all of the scalers, where we provide the recommendations, this is the key of the success of then the goods recommendation, and then how we measure and see if they are effective, all the KPIs that we define to understand if the user is really taking benefits of the recommendation that can be in the context where the user is. For example, if I wanted to continue watching something that I stopped yesterday because I didn't have more time, or if I'm in the mood to explore and providing the recommendations for you instances, the training, because we know that something had happened and someone is talking about a good series, so let me check what is in the top popular series. So providing all these instances that we see when we browse all of the OTTs and the setup box. Again, having the proper metadata and the proper user data to know if you have watched, if you don't watch. This for me, it's the foundation and to really provide effective personalization.
Yeah, it's equally important to encourage users to watch not just the pilot episode, but an entire season and entire series. And yeah, that's a great insight. Jeremy, what do you think about it?
Right, I completely agree with Sonia, but I would like to push that a little more. So at ByteDance, I'm quite sure most of you would have known that we're quite good at recommendation engines. We have a couple of very popular short video apps. That being said, we take recommendations very, very seriously. And we do that with deep learning models, right? So metadata is just a fundamental basis for all of that to happen. We take three types of data to do that. But you know, to really have the full harnessing of a personalization engine, it has to go low latency. What does that mean? Really pushing the boundaries of real-time data syncing. That's where you have contextual recommendation at the right point of time. This is something that we do, and we do this for content, we do this for e-commerce, recruitment, so on and so forth. As long as there is a large number of content SKUs to match with millions of users, that's where the engine really shines. And yes, most platforms started with a rudimentary rule-based model, and we see that this is now highly insufficient to fully capture monetization avenues, and this is where we are trying to push the boundaries as well.
Yeah. In my experience, it's always difficult to find out the right content when you have the time to watch. Like most of the weekend, I was sharing earlier with you guys that I try to find out, and by the time I'm finding the right content, its weekend is already over. So, Sonia, how do you simplify it for the viewers to find and navigate through the content by organizing and categorizing it right?
Yeah, so your problem is the problem of, unfortunately, our clients as well. So we, with customer insights, we get one of the biggest problems when that it is to find the good, the best product, the content to watch, and the way we try to help the user find the best to watch and to spend less time browsing and to find something interesting. So it's we need to consider three types of users and the expectations. We have the ones that doesn't know what they want to watch, and they believe in us and they trust in us to provide the best content for them. And for this type of users, we address with homepage where they can explore and really with a fully personalized experience where we can present recommended for you because you watch these, you might like that, the trending, and also curated content, because we are talking always about algorithms, but in this in the content world, if you can say it like this, human touch is still relevant. So the algorithms know what I have watched, and I know that something had happened. And there's a documentary about this, or there's a new show that we wanted to promote This is the browsing area where the user is getting inspired to find the best content.
Yeah.
But then we have the other two type of users. That okay, I know that I have 15 minutes, so I want to just watch that show that I know is running on this channel or on this area, and we still have the categories. So it's like going to knocking on door APG, or it's a recording, or that we have to have this area. And then we have the user that, okay, I wanted to watch Game of Thrones. Then I go and I use voice or the actual research. So we focus more and more in browsing the experience, but we still need to provide the other two, to address the other two needs for the other type of users. And we are exploring, and as I mentioned, in my area, we are also responsible for voice on the two different experience on the legacy products. We are working in defining the use case on the new next generation set-top box. We have Android, so working closely with Google Assistant, but in using voice to enhance it, to shorten the experience. So the goal is faster to play.
Find the right content in a short time.
Yes.
Ajay, what do you think about it?
I'm going to use Sonia's metaphor. I'm a metaphorical person. When you say it's like making like a lemonade with a lemons, TV.
That's why I'm
It's a beautiful lemon. So I think TV is a cocktail. Some of them drink alcohol and some of them don't. They're consumers, right? So and it's more complex than lemonade. I've grown lemon plants. There are a few versions. The Thai version is very sweet, and then there are some that are sour. But it's still a very simplified version of what TV is. I think the complicated nature of TV, starting from its ingredients, is quite complicated to put together a line and create a cocktail. And then when you create the best cocktail that there is, your consumer is going to say that today I'm not drinking alcohol. What do you do? You create or allow the consumer to be involved in the process. I appreciate that companies like Vodafone likes to classify your consumers from how they know content, don't know content, or need to know content, and they know what they're watching, discovery or search. But I also think that there's only so much that you can curate for a consumer. There's only so much that algorithms, or only so much that AI can help you. These are as good as yesterday. If it doesn't evolve today, it's going to not last. And if we don't understand how deep and simple these solutions are at the ground and root level, we're never going to improve it. And you can go in the wrong direction, which is going to cause more harm than good. I think in terms of the human touch, which Vodafone talks of sometimes, where it's the Vodafone touch to its consumers because you want to be better than Orange in many markets. And that's fair. But what human touch is missing in a consumer use and a consumer experience is a consumer touch. I think there would come a day where a consumer would want to set filters themselves and be able to say what they would want on a carousel rather than be served something that they would say that, hey, just because I liked one cartoon called Princess, I don't like other shows called Princess as well. So, these are the aspects of what I would hope that the consumer gets more control over the experience themselves. And I think that would help the viewer experience if they control it themselves. And they can choose yellow, green.
Can I just
Sure.
because when I mentioned the human touch, it's as you referred, the human touch from the user is also very important because it's not only the algorithms, and it's not only because you watch something that at the end you like it. So that's why we need for the user to like the content, to tell us if they really like, or at the beginning we know that we don't like to spend too much time during the first time use, But it's very important for the user to tell us something of their interest. So we can provide much better recommendations up front immediately. So starting the user experience. So yes, the human touch takes both ways, not only from Vodafone.
Yeah. And I think, as we all know, the consumption on CTV is constantly increasing. How can you enable proper personalization in the CTV space? The first question is, are we able to personalize content discovery and navigation at the individual level when it comes to CTV? When we are reaching to audience on big screen, are we there? Let's start with Ajay. You are working some work on the TV side, right?
Yeah, a lot of the work that we do is CTV. It's such a mad world out there that it's great for us. I think, and our strategy in America is CTV solution, and it's quite broadly so because we don't understand the exact nature of the need of the business in the market. It could be as simple as figuring out security and privacy pop-ups. It could be as deep as understanding ad analytics, which is not personalized to the level that people would want it to be. There are many companies who are launching advertising models today. There are many companies who are trying to use a good combination of ad tech, whether it's client side and or server side, and their starting point has been very wrong. It's not the technology that we use, it's the analytics that do the job in terms of advertising. When you talk about personalization, beautiful term that you use, can you achieve that on CTV as much as you do on mobile? We've spoken for the last 15 years about TV everywhere, and we've spoken about ROI in the TV business, where many broadcasters would expect their investments to be met within the year, which is unfair to new technologies. I think that CTV has been such a new space. The pandemic, thank God for it, has brought back people into their living room to work from home a lot. What also happened during the pandemic is a lot of CTV manufacturers did not sell their hardware, which was made the previous year because of supply chain issues. What was also made possible was the OSs have improved rapidly over time where hardware hasn't. If you see the 2022 models, they're a bit of a nightmare because they're not combining good hardware and software particularly well with these brands. And they go back a step. What happens with CTVs in general is that when you talk about UI and UX and consumer experience, I feel that some of the briefs that we get as a company is we want the same design, consumer and experience parity across mobile and CTVs. Is that a fair question where one is a personal device and one's communal? Do I want people to see the history of all the content that I've browsed? I'm used to the fact on my mobile device that people don't know what I'm doing on my mobile device, and I do not want to know what I've been watching. However private or not is, the device is different. If I'm living alone or not, if the TV is alone, the TV is certainly not in my pocket, because then that becomes a private and personal device. So I feel that the device itself should set the experience, the environment in which the device should set the experience as well. And it's not about the app, it's about the app store. It's about moving from an app to another app, which is possible on the mobile world today, but the CTVs won't allow that very easily.
Yeah. What do you think, Jeremy, about it? Your experience is similar on those lines?
So we come from a slightly different kind of segment of the media space, right? We have a very deep expertise in the short video segment, right? I think data monitoring over there and looking at user behavior is very different as compared to CTV, right? Mobile versus TV. No, but I wouldn't say that most platforms are really because of that data piece. But what we can see is, I would like to add to AJ's notes just now about cross-platform data. That's where I think there's still a lot of potential. Because if you're looking at hyper-personalization, you get three types of data: your user profile data, your content data, which talks about slightly similar to what Sonia was talking about for metadata, and then the juiciest part is behavior data, right? How are we looking at behavior data to do cross-platform recommendations. That's the final piece, I would say, in the fundamental layer to do personalization. Yeah. So unless all these three pieces gel quite well in a seamless way for an engine to learn, yeah, that's where I think there will be developments in the space.
What do you think, Zaid, about Connect TV, the discovery and personalization experience?
Um, one of the challenge that we face as an operator is how to integrate the 3PA content. So, there's it was a discussion here this morning about the super bundling, how then the user find out all this content and they are available on their subscription and how to take the most value of this. So these are the challenge that we are facing.
Thank you for the great insights. And how do you force the relevance of discovery versus search with the rapid inflation in the number of fast channels? Jeremy, I would like to start with.
Sure. I think the rise of fast channels definitely a phenomenon in the market right now. There's a view that this is highly cyclical, right? A period of redistribution and then consolidation again. I think the real winners in the fast channel space are ones that are able to find that balance between the equilibrium of your eCPM and your cost factors for content acquisition. Only companies that are able to do that will be able to survive during this phase. With that, I think regardless of discovery or search, ad recommendation will be a core for monetization. So unless companies get that right during this entire phase of rapid rise and consolidation, this will be a crucial point to consider for any success.
Yeah. Ajay, what's your opinion on this?
I don't know. I think the audience should say this. How many of you have actually searched for a fast channel?
One, two.
You millennials have quite a few. I think two is a big number. I think I was talking to so many fast channel providers. I think more than curating and scheduling content, they spend more time creating fast channel loads. You're doing it by the day. We looked at a lot of research where EPGs, channel lists, all of these things have become too much on the operator world. But we're coming back into a world where the OEMs are using fast channels into an app and scheduling content left, right, and center. How does a consumer search for something that they don't know exists, that didn't exist yesterday? It's not going to happen. And the idea of search for fast, my opinion, happens after discovery. You discover something, you like it, you search for something related to it. You discover it somewhere else on a social media platform, you go on to another platform. Cross-platform is important. Cross-awareness of fast content across applications, whether you're an operator application with a few fast channels interlaced, where the ROI is quickly manageable, where the cost of creating and curating the content piece is easier, cheaper, and quicker than of the big bad linear TV world. But at the end of the day, it's the same experience. If you look at any data from any public broadcaster, they'll tell you that search happens after linear TV. A lot of these apps, you've seen that VOD has taken the precedence of streaming TV and video services over the last 15 years. But linear TV still exists today for a very particular reason. It's not certainly a consumer group of old and aged people watching linear TV. It's the young ones who two of them raise their hands today, right? So it's easily there. It needs to be more and more aware. And today when you speak to the OEMs like Samsung and all the brands who are actually curating a lot of fast channels, they'll tell you that they have too many to choose from. Everybody who's able to, make a fast channel will make one. But will they be on a platform and will they be there long enough? Will they be able to curate and create more content to schedule and create these channels last long enough to make sure that people actually use it? Time will tell. It's a buzzword. How long will it last? And the biggest question that we have is when will it move from a homepage or a interlaced solution of your TV into an app of its own? Only that time will tell that. If you ever download an application with fast channels in it, then it's a success.
So yeah, what do you think about this?
Yeah, I totally agree that there's so much to so many contents available, and you need to discover, you need to have the awareness that it exists, and then you will search for more and try to find out more of the similar, and to see what is scheduled, what is available on those channels. But having the awareness that the channel exists and what is the content available, yes, that is the key. Crucial success for the channels.
So discovery and personalization is not just for the users, but it's equally important for the business because it's directly related with your churn rate. You just don't want the users to come on your platform and don't watch anything and go back, but you want the users who are engaged more, who are watching constantly, not just the one episode, but one season, the entire series, or a full movie, not just the trailer. And that's how it's not related only with the users. So let's understand the churn. As streaming services multiply, retaining the subscribers is increasingly superficial and challenging. The rate at which users cancel their subscription has become critical, and every platform, this is not for one platform, everyone has observed this. Sonia, how do you try to reduce the churn and improve the customer retention by using the discovery and personalization?
So we are learning and more how to keep the user engaged, to retain the customer loyal to our service. So in the past we were only taking good to the conversion rates, but then we start questioning. It's the same user. It's just it comes once, pick one content, and then never comes back to this service. So we need to understand the life cycle of the user with us, and to understand the level of the engagement. If they are loyal, they will engage. So we are able to recommend other type of contents, not only the ones that they are usually watching, but we can start to promote different type of genres, so that the user can explore more about their subscriptions. Then, in the other hand, we have some users that they are engaged, but they watch almost every time the same. So we need to provide to them the continuity watching features, the next feature, so they can do the binge watching. And we also need to bring the ones that we see that are losing the engagement with us. So to promote contents that they used to watch in the past. You have watched this series, and we have this one that is similar, the interest. So at the end, what is really important for us is to understand what type of user, where the user is on the cycle, and to then start being engaged, or the engagement with our topics.
Yeah, you spoke about a couple of indication, but the follow-up question in the same line is, what are the reliable indicators to track and how a content platform can interpret them to understand whether this user is really engaged? Is it average minute per user, or is it the amount of content watched in a month, or what are those indicators?
As I mentioned, so we were first very focused on more on the adoption. Now we are not the adoption, the activation. Now we are more focused on the adoption and the engagement. And for example, for the engagement, you would be track the user activity. How long do they spend? How often do they use and watch content? The time spent watching, the number, not only the number of contents, but also the time consuming the content, and the feature engagement, how often they use continue watching the recommendations for you, and also understanding the user journey. If they complete a journey, or if they start but didn't complete, why they didn't complete that user journey. So this will help us to improve and to understand where the user is losing the interest in, or they are facing issues. And yeah, so this is are the key indicators that we wanted to track. Ajay, would you like to add more?
Yeah, I think normally I would love to compare TV viewing with social media consumption. But this time, with relevance to what you're saying, the question in terms of Churn, comparing TV with gaming, right? So TV in general is a passive audience where you're sitting back, you're watching content, pressing a play button or pressing stop or continue watching for that matter. These are very simple tasks for a consumer to do, and to call that consumer engagement is a bit of a stretch. Consumer engagement is what you see with gaming. There's a continuous engagement with that other content. Looking at what you're seeing with gaming becoming what TV experiences are, which means that it's engaging a passive audience when there are lots of people who are not gaming, but they're watching games. That's becoming TV. When do we see TV becoming an actively engaged solution with that? First of all, the consumers want to do, of course they do. We're thinking of engagement models like voting and surveys and interactivity, which goes beyond levels of what you see in terms of engagement with the content of playback. I think that then it becomes more difficult when you take out the second screen experience, but you want it within a single screen single app. It's okay to do it on a mobile. How do you do this on CTV, where you can basically barely get an application right? We're doing a lot of such kind of interactivity with TV applications and streaming media applications with a lot of the broadcasters in Scandinavia. One of those examples was TV2 in Sweden that launched a American Idol voting within the CTV app that we did. You could actually use your remote control and vote within the application UI without interfering too much with the content, without making it hard with too many clicks, with a very, very ugly and horrible remote control. I think that the idea was not to remove a second screen or a mobile voting experience, but to add to it, to give a consumer a choice to either use it with the remote control and or with the mobile, not one or the other, because you're trying to make cocktails for many different people. So the idea is the numbers that we saw told us as well that 50% of the audiences actually use remote control and 50% use mobile. It was equal. It gave an audience an opportunity. But having said that, we did this last year, and this year already, when I asked you to come speak about it in an event for ourselves, they said, "Are you mad? This is so last year. We're trying to read the mind of the consumer and do so much more with it with AI." What that means, time will tell. But I think that engagement requires a certain amount of gamification within applications in general, whether you're watching content, whether it's purchasing what you see, or having the option not to.
Yeah. I think you all have very different platforms, and according to you, what are the differences in viewing preferences across the TV, OTT, and other platforms? And how can a personalization improve retention and user engagement? I would like to start with Jenny.
Right. I think where we come from, it's a very different world. From social media kind of experience, we have certain best practices for, I would say, micro slicing consumer preferences that gave us a lot of flexibility in the way we work with data, right? And there is a difference in the amount of richness in data across all these different platforms. But ultimately, that's what's required for a truly personalized experience. And what we are seeing is also an injection of user-generated content for long-form TV. So, for example, during the World Cup, we deployed a very large-scale project in Asia. We live-streamed the World Cup across 600 million devices, 28 days full HD low latency. When we did that, we were looking at sports live streaming in a way that was firstly mobile first. And we started injecting UGC features into that user experience. We started creating decentralized chat groups where users can go in and chat with their friends while watching the game. Right. With that sort of practice, engagement went through the roof. It was quite an interesting project for us, and we're trying to see if some of these best practices can be taken one step further. Speaking to some of the partners in the industry.
The quality and consistency of metadata is essential for the business goals. And Sonia, I would like to know from you, what are the difficulties you encounter when you combine the metadata from different partners to create a comprehensive user experience for the users? What is the experience on those lines?
So as mentioned previously, so the metadata is key for the recommendation. And what the difficulties that we face is either inconsistency or incomplete, or the quality itself. So sometimes, yes, the field is filled, but
It's incorrect.
it's incorrect, and we were talking prior to this conversation that anything can be entertainment, but at the end it's not. Or if you for movies, if you just take as movies, then we can how can we differentiate for a user that prefer drama versus action movies? So the quality of the metadata itself it's really important, and the other barriers that we face is the integration, because coming from different providers. As Vodafone wanted to be a super aggregator, we are also asking for the third party apps to provide their metadata in order for us to be able to surface our recommendations with search, and also to present in our own UI. And then this in mind being the super aggregator, on which for the user what is important is the content itself. And then okay, now I know I wanted to watch Top Gun, is one of the example that I provide. I wanted to watch Top Gun, and I search for it, then I know where it's available, if it's in libraries, if it's catch up on demand or third party content. So this is our goal as an operator, but we still face some legal and contractual considerations. On one side, we have providers that allow us to know that the content is available with other sources. We have others that restrict them. And for example, we always try to have this super aggregation. And in one of our markets, there was the need to have a way to disaggregate. So it's the challenge that we have on the
Great insights. Jeremy, tell us more about new ways or cool tech innovations did you notice recently? You mentioned about the chat rooms, but do you think those are the innovations you noticed that could boost the content discovery and personalization on platform?
Right, this is an interesting question. I'll take this in two pieces, right? One on the technology innovation front, one on the business model innovation front. Talking about business first, what we are seeing is hybrid models happening more and more, right? We see the merging of social media and commerce. We see the merging of, or rather cross-pollination of education with recruitment websites, food recipe content with food delivery apps. We're looking at hybrid models more and more for some of our partners and customers. And I think this is one area that is highly relevant in this time where we are looking at more sophisticated retargeting in the market, whether it's for ad monetization, whether it's for just longer view time engagement on certain apps. This is definitely something new, right? I think at a glance level, you can see this happening in some of our businesses. And on that front, we're helping partners in certain verticals do that very same thing, right? With some of our solutions, with some of our machine learning products. That's keeping us on our toes, and I think we're one of the ones at the cutting edge of such movements in the market. The second one is about technology. We are seeing this happening more and more, going back to the cross-pollination of platforms, right? We are seeing more innovation of products for UGC. That's one of the main drivers where you can extract enough consumer behavior data for you to do proper analysis, right? And with that, there is a large scale of data that more and more companies will be dealing with. You need more sophisticated data platforms to manage that. So, for example, if you look at some of our short video apps that we are supporting, in the search bar, just a very simple feature. When you type and look for a video, it's a sub-second query speed where the next video will pop up as a result. To do that for millions of videos in sub-second speed, that's a data infrastructure that you have to build and to accommodate for. And unless you manage such, perhaps, pardon me, non-sexy backend technology, it's very hard for a company to get. So we are also helping some of our partners to, revamp some of their internal infrastructure technology and figure out how they can best take advantage of that.
We have a very short time, but let's see if anyone from audience has any questions. Okay.
Yeah, just one. In some questions, you were positioning ways to interfere, let's say, in the algorithm, having a human touch or interfering in monetization. Just wanted to get your impressions on how to have good balance of having algorithms and editorialization for their performance.
So yeah, Ajay?
So as I was referring, the editorial component is still relevant to, and you can see that on, for example, Netflix, Disney, and so on, where we can see more often the categories, I'm missing the word, but the collections. So it's guiding users to explore more categories and not only just recommend more of something that you watch. Because it's not because you watched yesterday drama that you wanted to always watch drama. You wanted to explore others, and that is also, I believe, the beauty of a recommendation engine. Is okay, you are in your comfort zone, but you wanted to check other things, and maybe you start liking other type of content that you never watch. And if we don't have that human touch, for example, something there's a someone dies or something is happening in the world that you need to bring the contents that you have related to these the teams that is happening right now. You know that you have those contents in your catalog. You need to bring them for the user awareness.
Yeah, I think discovery and personalization are critical for creating a better viewing experience, and they definitely help to reduce the average cost per viewing minute or to improve the catalog consumption, because not always everyone wants to see only latest content, but catalog consumption is also related with it. And to enhance the search results or translate the requirements of business into positive outcomes. Uh, Thank you so much, panel, for the great discussion and your insights and contribution.